That's a typical issue, right? So we were running an 8 3/4 inch bit. We maximized our entire drilling program around that, and then we went to 9.5. So the first thing we need to do is look at how much more hole we're cutting, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm assuming if you're doing an 8 3/4 hole and you went to 9.5, you're doing 5 or 6 inch casing. Mud rotary. What are we using for screens and gravel pack? Do we have a 4-inch screen? Do we have a 5-inch screen? What is the outside? So what I'm getting to is a couple things that could have happened to that bit. I'd look to see if it's jetted or if it's torched out. Are we getting the same size cuttings as we drill that hole that you catch in your basket? And if you're not catching cuttings and looking at them, you need to start. So after I look at that, now I start thinking about the impact to my drilling program. The drilling fluids I'm running, how bad am I hitting outside of that formation? If I have an engineered drilling fluid, I'm 2/32 of an inch outside of that borehole. So when I go to develop, I have very little filter cake. But now I have this new bit that's cutting a bigger hole, and I have to start thinking about, I have my screen, and I have my gravel pack, and then I have filter cake, and I have that outside formation. Do I have enough air, or am I surge blocking? What is your development method? Because I have to have enough force to get through my screen and my filter pack to that filter cake to break it down. So now if I have low uphold velocities and I'm actually tumbling and making a higher mud weight, and everything is impacting to the outside. But the first thing to think about is we just increase the size of the diameter of our hole. We went from 3 gallons, 3 1/4 gallons. I could grab my calculator and run it for you, but we can look at those articles in National Driller that explain that. What we need to think about is how much bigger hole I'm cutting, how much more cuttings I'm bringing out, and now that I have a bigger filter pack, can I get to that outside filter cake and break it up and get that in? That's what I would expect is happening. Look at the drilling fluids you're running. Did you change brands of bentonite? Did you change water sources? There's so many things to think about when we look at well development and the impact, but what we have to think about is that porosity that's there that's going to make the water come in, we have to have minimal impact. So as we drill into that zone, we gotta have good uphold velocity, 60 to 150 feet per minute, cuttings coming out, and we wanna make sure that we have a low solids drilling fluid. So if our drilling fluid's beyond 9 pounds, I say stay at 8.8 pounds per gallon, because as I drill into that porosity zone, what's gonna happen? If I have a heavier fluid, the path of least resistance is my heavier fluid to go out and stop that water from coming in. If I have a low solids fluid, that water's gonna wanna come in. So think about how you're impacting your borehole, and then if you can actually get back out there and bring any damage that you did to that formation back into the screen. So that's really what we have to think about is, how did we change the dynamics of what we were drilling? Do we have enough air capacity to scrub? Think about going to a shorter development tool that only does a foot of the screen at a time if you're gonna have a bigger. You have to think about all the impacts. How much longer is it taking for the well to clear up when you start pumping now using this new bit? There's a lot of nuances there, and this may be something we have to follow up with. So I'd like to hear more. Thanks.